Hey guys, welcome back to Bearded Lumber. Matthew and I want to tell you we appreciate you tuning in. Today's going to be a little bit different. We're not going to be sawmilling, but we're going to be taking a product, particularly oak, that him and I saw several months ago, run it through the molder, or run it through the kiln dryer. It's sitting over here dried. We're going to dig out enough to build 2 Adirondack chairs for a wonderful lady that's done a lot for us in the past. It's going to be a 2-part video. Just did it up that way, it's so much of it. But the first part is going to be planing, edging. We're going to cut out all our pieces from templates and get it sanded. And then the second part will be assembly and finish. But that's going to do it, guys. We appreciate you watching. We'll get right into it. See you in a minute. Okay guys, what we're using is a Grizzly G100 Now I don't know if that's the exact same number of a brand new one because this one's about 10 years old. But let me tell you something about this piece of machinery. It has made plenty of money. It has paid for itself time and time again. We used it yesterday for a customer order.
We used it doing all the stuff over there.
Right,
for the
we did
wall.
all our siding that's in the Boulder Planer edition. We used it. If you don't have one of these around your sawmill, you're cheating yourself. I know it's a little difficult with green lumber. There's no need to plane green lumber. But if you've got dried lumber that you're selling or a customer's bringing you dried lumber, this is a money maker. I mean, you can you can plane boards. You can plane 3-inch hickory steps if you're big enough, because Matthew and I ain't. We did it once. We don't want to do it no more. You can plane 8x8 pecan beams. No, we're not doing that no more. We learned better.
We were dumb enough to do it one time.
Yeah, we was dumb enough to do it one time. But just planing lumber, I had a contractor call me yesterday. He needed enough boards to wrap an 8x8 beam, 3 of them, 12 foot long. And he needed them 1/2 inch thick. No problem, got them. He come by, picked them up within a couple hours, gone. He was tickled to death. So, all that to be said, just if there's any way you can buy one and add it to your meal, you'll be glad you did. So, let's go to the other side and we'll do just a quick setup on how to get started. Okay guys, first thing you want to do is look at your lumber that you're going to be putting through your planer. This piece is good and straight. Because wood moves, you know, I mean, it just happens. But this one's fairly straight. What I'm going to do for initial setup on this Grizzly, there's a piece of metal right here, if you can see it. And that's kind of the maximum that you can put through. Now over here you can do more, but I'm going to stick this first piece in there and just lightly touch it. And that'll get me pretty close to where I want to start. This is your up and down. And when you know, I don't normally lock it, but when we get down to the final pass, I'll lock it in so it don't actually move. You can read the scale, but I find it easier just to do this. Put it up here. If I get about an 1/8 inch gap going in, that's a good place to start, because I can run it, if I'm not happy, I can run it out the other end, come back, go down a 1/2 turn, and go back through. Because I want this first pass to take just a little bit to find the thicks and the thins and maybe even the twisted ones. So that's all I'm gonna do to get started. We'll turn the blower on, turn the machine on, and make some noise.
The other thing with this one is it's a 2-speed machine.
Yes, this machine has a 16 feet a minute and a 20 feet a minute feed. We never slow it down. I wish it run 40 feet a minute. But yeah, I guess if you were really doing some fine finish, you could slow it down, but it's just one of them things. You're not going to get a super fine finish with this Grizzly head that's on here. It has 96 1/2 inch carbide cutter heads, and they just inherently leave a little The finish itself is smooth, but there'll be just a thousandth of a difference between them, and it needs sanding. So I run it as fast as it goes. Okay, Matthew, let's fire it up and run. Okay guys, it's June here and it is hot, so I'm pretty well sure it's hot where you're at too, but we got all our red oak planed. All these we went down to 11/16, and the other ones we kept at 7/8. I got a joiner in the other shop, but I prefer not to use it when we got a good WoodMizer EG100 Edger. So that's what we're going to do next. We're going to run these through. I'm just going to edge one side, and then we'll use the table saw to work it down into the dimensions we need. But you always got to have one good square edge to start with. So Matthew and I are going to get something to drink, and we'll be right back. Okay guys, you've seen us run it all through the edger. We could have two-sided edged it, but it's really pointless because all my cuts are going to be a little bit different width. I just needed one side straight to run it through the table saw. That's probably going to do it for today. I'll get these on the tractor, move them up to the other building in the morning, and we'll get started on construction. See you in a little bit. Okay guys, welcome back to the shop this morning. We're not down at the mill. Goal for today is try to get 2 of these Adirondack chairs cut out. I got all our material we worked on yesterday. Kind of hard to see in the bright sun. Just sitting there on the porch of the tractor. And this morning, we've made enough of these in the past. Over the last 10 years, I've probably made 50 or better of these, maybe more than that. So I've committed everything to a template that I can hang on the wall. If you're gonna remake something over and over again, make yourself some templates. But let me grab a drill. Okay. This is not a template, but it is a jig. It's a template for one back leg supports. Here's all your fan for the back of the chair. Here's a corbel that goes under the arm to keep the arm good and tight. Upper rear brace, I've even got dimensions and angles on it, because you forget. And here's the lower back brace. This is for the seat slats where your bottom goes. This is the lower, this is the lower front spreader. All your vertical back pieces will screw into this one. A front leg ×2. You got an armrest, where your arm sits, ×2. Rear spreader, this goes between the rear legs to keep them from flexing. And this is actually a rear leg, ×2. And this is another jig for putting the back slats in. So, that's everything that goes with this. I don't know if I can leave that mold in or not, it's been a while, I'll find out. So, the goal is the legs and the arms, probably the spreader. No, that won't be the spreader. The upper rear brace and the lower rear brace, I'm gonna make these out of the thicker material, and all the rest of them be made out of the thinner material. So let me get a little thought together in my mind what I need to cut. Since it's all square edge, it'll save me a lot of time. I don't have to run it through the table saw or run it through the jointer trying to get a square edge. I can just get cutting it out. Some of it I'll do on the table saw, like these tapered legs. I got a taper and jig that I can cut all these out, and then I'll have to come back and cut the radius and cut them to each individual length, because they are different. You got 4 on one side and 4 on the other, and they're all different lengths, but they have the exact same taper in the leg itself. And we'll use a bandsaw to do a little bit of that. So, probably won't talk a whole lot because it is hot down here today. I had to unplug the big fan. I'm gonna plug it back up, so hang on, we'll get to work. Okay guys, I'm gonna try to talk over the fan. It is just like 85, 90 degrees already this morning. But I got all my pieces cut to length. Here's one of the sample ones I did. After we get done, we'll go back and we'll put our template on it, mark the radius and cut. But I sell a lot of high dollar taper jigs out here. This one I made many years ago. Works perfectly fine. We can say all the time, you don't have to spend money just for the fact of spending money. If you can figure it out and make it, it costs me nothing but a whole piece of plywood and a little 2x2. So, that being said, guys, be careful around your table saw. My kids, they grew up working with this equipment, and they'll tell you, you won't get hurt chewing your butt out. Let me walk in and see that saw blade up more than a 1/4 inch than you need. I'm gonna chew their tail out. And they still live after the day. First thing they'll do, before they turn that saw on, is adjust that blade down. And, accidents happen. And I'd a whole lot rather cut a 1/4 inch groove in my finger than take one off. I did that one time on a motorcycle. We'll cover that story sometime later. It wasn't fun. But just be careful. Any kind of fire equipment, you know. You can learn how to do this. You can learn how to do this safely. Just don't go above your skill level until you practice and try. I got a good buddy, been a lifetime carpenter. Come see me the other day. You know, he looks like this. And an instant with a chop saw. And I mean, he's not my age, but he's close. Been doing it his whole life and had one of them moments. So please be careful. I'm gonna put you on time lapse, run these through. So let's get to it. Okay guys, we got all our back staves cut. What I got laid out here on the table is our patterns. You got right, you know, short, long, longer, and the middle is the longest. And then you got to repeat the pattern on the other side. So I need 2 of each of these and 1 of the center one. And since we're doing 2 chairs, we'll double that. So 4 of each of these, no, yeah. 4 of each of these and 2 of these. We only need, what is that, 14? So that won't be too bad. But what I did, I had a couple of them that I shortened up a little bit to make a better stave because I knew I could use it on some of these short ones. So I'll go through here and pick out the best long ones, mark them, and then go progressively shorter through the list. So, and then we'll take over here to the bandsaw and radius the end, and got a little porta cable belt sander over there. We'll try to make belt sanding the end of them a little easier. End grain's always horrible to sand, so give me just a minute and we'll get to the, I'll get all these marked and we'll get back on the bandsaw. Okay, I got all my pieces marked. I actually had to go back and cut a couple extra because these had some flaws that I wasn't satisfied with. Now here's our end product. Radiused off the end with the bandsaw, and then I went over to the sander and smoothed this radius as well as I smoothed the end radius and the bottom, just so you don't have any sharp points. We will be running it through our little bitty router, just putting a little 3/8 round over on it so it's smooth to the touch. So I got what was that, 14 of these to do, so let's get to making them. That's a pretty good approximation of what they're going to look like on the chair when you're done. Probably going to go ahead and run all these through a little router. I can set them over there as complete, done. Don't have to do anything else to them. Light sanding before we put it together, and I'll pre-drill all the screw holes once I know exactly where they go. So, but right now it's hot, so I'm gonna take 5 and drink my coffee. I'll be back in just a minute. Okay, guys, we got all those run through. It's a finger getter. Be careful. If you've never used one, start off slowly. I was running wide open, but accident happened at any time, okay? But I've routed thousands of these, okay? Don't zone out. Stay focused where your fingers are at, what you're doing, how you're holding it. But that's our back pieces. I'm going to probably do the 4 arm pieces next because they're the most critical as far as the way I want them to look out of a perfect piece of wood. I'll not say perfect, but I mean, if it's got some knots and stuff, that's fine, but no cracks, no splits, no warping. I want them to be as pretty as possible. So I'm gonna get these out of the way, get a couple boards up here, mark them, and we'll go over here to bandsaw and cut them out. So give me a couple minutes, I'll be back. Okay guys, went through, got them all marked. It's real light pencil, so I know it's hard to see. But this is the end product. Sanded, grouted, or yeah. The outside's been sanded, the surface needs to be smoothed up. Like I said, I wasn't looking for a perfect board. I just didn't want any bad spots in a bad spot. So, it's kind of repetitive, so let's do one, cutting it out, and one sanded it, and routing it, and we'll move on to the next thing. Okay guys, I went ahead and cut out the legs. We'll go bore you with that. It's just 5.5 wide by 2 foot long square board. Sanded and routed the edges. Here's our leg. This is the main part of your chair. This is what holds you weight up when you sit down on it. Got one cut out, finished. Got the other 3 marked. This video is going to drag on if I don't hurry up, so you understand how to do it. Mark it, whack it out on the bandsaw, smooth it up on the sander, and run it through the router table here. We're down to the last few pieces. Probably going to skip over making them because you ought to be able to understand it. We got our back brace. This goes, right behind the top of your back. This is the bottom back brace. The pickets will go between the 2 of them. This is just a spreader. It goes between the back legs to keep them, parallel. And this goes on the front of the chair to hold the two legs spaced apart. And we got a little corbel goes under the arm, and then we got a whole bunch of seat slats. Well, it ain't but 9 or 10 per chair. So let me get all this done, and we'll come back for a little bit of sanding and assembly. I think that'd be more beneficial than you just sitting here watching me whack it out. Let me go ahead and say this right here, guys. One thing I constantly tell you on our channel, there's no need to spend money just for the fact of spending money. Sometimes you have to. Sometimes it's best to spend money on new, but this router table was a yard sale find. A Porta-Cable sander I bought new, but they were a couple $100. The bandsaw I bought used, and this rigid table saw I actually bought it used, and I added a 4-foot extension to it, and it does roll. You don't have to have $10,000 worth of tools to do this. As a matter of fact, all the tools I'm using are basic: a table saw, a bandsaw, a belt sander, and a router table. And we'll use up here a DeWalt, since that's what I got up here, a DeWalt impact, and screws, and some sanders. I mean, anybody's doing any amount of woodworking probably got enough tools to build some of these chairs. And woodworking is one of those things. It's not always cost effective to make it versus going out and buying a cheap foreign made something or another that'll do the same job. But I don't take pride in saying that, well, some other individual made that. I take more pride in saying I made it, you know. So just something to bear in mind. Whew, it is hot today, brother. So let me get all this done. Probably take lunch, and we'll get back when it's time to sand and assemble this mess. So, guys, we appreciate you watching. You never know what it means to be at my age. I'm 56, soon to turn 57-year-old. Never dreamed I'd been on YouTube. Never I dreamed I'd talk to people around the world. Now, I have traveled. I have been around the world. I hadn't been to Europe yet, but I've been a lot of other places around the world. But it still amazes me that you, the audience, would want to watch what we're doing here in North Carolina. And I appreciate it beyond measure. So, enough of that. Let me get back to work. I'll catch up with you in a few. Okay, guys. Phew, it's taken a little while, but I got all our pieces made. These are all the seat slats. We'll go over here. I know the sun's a little wicked, but you got your front spreaders, your corbels, your back support, your upper back support. Got 4 legs, 4 vertical legs, your 4 tapered legs. You got 4 of the arms. You got all your back pieces, and we got 2 spreaders. Now, it's all work, but I'm gonna go through and lightly sand them all with a 120 grit. This is not gonna be fine furniture finish. We just don't want any nicks or splinters or rough spots. So it'll just be hit it quick, you know, find a rough spot, spend a little more time on it. Other than that, just knock it down, because it's gonna be yard furniture at the end of the day. So what time is it? 4:30. I bet you it's at least an hour and a half's worth of sanding here. So let me quit talking and just get to it. Okay, guys. I told you about an hour and a half. It's been an hour and 15 minutes. And that's just lightly sanding. I mean, seriously, that's just hitting the high spots, you know, licking the promise, we'll get it again later type stuff. If this was furniture grade, instead of doing 120, I'd probably started out with 80, then 120, and then 220, and maybe even 400 after that. I could spend a whole day, you know, sanding just these pieces if it was going to be a high-end piece of furniture. But this is a Adirondack chair to go outside, and biggest thing I want is it to have a good feel. We're going to put a flat finish urethane on it as a waterproofer, so it's not going to shine. But this kind of stuff costs money. It takes time. You got to have a lot of tools. You can learn the expertise, but it takes tools and time to make this stuff. So it's almost 6 o'clock on a Saturday, and I'm still working. I think I'm going to solve that problem and quit. Matthew and I'll come back hopefully Monday and get these assembled. So hope y'all enjoy the rest of your day. I'm going to try to enjoy mine, and I'll see you shortly. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. Hope it was informative. There's a lot of hours went into that part of this video. Matthew was gone for some reason on Saturday. I think he was fishing, and I spent all day cutting out the pieces from the template and sanding them smooth. It's a wonderful way to spend the day when it's not so hot, but I hope you enjoyed it. Hope it was helpful. As always, we'll thank our partners, Joe Main from Industrial Cutting Tools. Big help to this channel, guys. If you need any blades, sharpening equipment and stuff, give Joe a call. Also, Solomon, Third Beard Fishing. Check out his YouTube channel, Third Beard Fishing. And if you can handle snakes, check out his other channel, Eastern Florida Pythons. Guys, we appreciate you watching. Appreciate all the comments. Got any questions about it, leave it in the comment section below. We'll be glad to answer them. That's going to do it for today. We'll see you back at the mill.
Thank you for watching. Here's a video selection and a playlist suggestion. Click here to subscribe for more great content. We'll see you at the mill.